we go. There we go. And I am live. I don't know how long I'm going to be live, people. We're really trying, and this is a bad signal. The problem is everybody in this hotel is using the internet at the same time, and that really slows us down. We do not have great internet quality at the hotel that we're at. When I'm at my house in July, this will not be a problem. We've got high-speed internet there. Everything is groovy. Here, it's a little tougher. So I wanted to go over some things quick, just in case. I talked earlier about damages. You have to prove damages. You have to be able to go in and say, here's what I lost. This is how it damaged my reputation. There's only one thing on earth in America you don't have to prove damages for. Guess what it is? It's being called a child molester. Because the government has determined that anybody who gets called that and isn't that, obviously the damages are real. No one needs to have that proven. It's pretty damn obvious. So I know that there's been some responses made since the video I made earlier, and she's doubling down, which is great. Keep doing that, right? Keep doubling down, genius. But here are the facts. Let's stipulate, just to make everybody happy. Their argument is that in 1986, I raped a girl. Not going to get into the debate about the what happened in 1986. I've talked about that so many times on this show. It's incredible. But let's just stipulate for shits and grins and say, I did. Anything Marilyn Honig has accused me of, I did. I still would have done it at 16. Do you understand? Genius, I would have done it at 16. That makes me a minor. So calling me a child molester and doubling down on it and going, yeah, that child molester. Here's another one that's pretty interesting. If you molest a child in the United States of America, you become a registered sex offender. Maybe before you call somebody a child molester, you should see if they're a registered sex offender. Maybe see if they register. Because if they're not registering as a sex offender legally, they sure as shit didn't molest a child. To say that I continually raped people, right? I have been raping people all along, right? Using drugs from Mexico that I smuggled in across up my anus or whatever other line of shit. This all has to be proven. I don't have to go into court and prove anything. You understand? Get that? I'm suing. She has to go into court and prove that the things she's been saying about me are facts, right? Not opinions, not something she heard somebody say, or, hey, I read this thing from 86. This is open and shut. And she can pretend that, hey, she's not worried about this. Good. Don't. Get a great night's sleep, sunshine. Enjoy yourself, Marilyn. Seriously, sleep well, because you won't be for long. By the way, it should be, hopefully, between my birthday and my brother's, I talked to my attorney, was hoping to have him on with me this evening. He loves YouTube and he loves people looking at him. He is not in the United States of America currently either. And he won't be back until the last day of June. So hopefully at that point, I will do a show with him. Really looking forward to doing a show with him so that some of the questions can be answered. I will take questions if you guys want to ask any. Here's what it comes down to. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. It's the last thing in the world I want to do. For real. This is disturbing as hell. Like I want to do this. I want to have to go to court and go through all of this shit. One of the other things they said is, can you imagine how bad it would be for Tommy Scoville on deposition? Let me explain something to you. I've admitted everything I've done on YouTube. It's all there, right? Depose me. I've admitted to everything I've ever done. Anything. I'm a bank robber. I'm a con man, right? I did these things. I did them. I admitted to them. I'm not the least bit concerned about discovery. Marilyn Honig should be concerned about discovery because my lawyer is going to say, did you call my client a child molester on this date? On this date. And she's going to continually have to say, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I did. Did you ever check to see if actually he had been convicted of molesting a child before you started doing that? No, I didn't. And there's your case, folks. Ding, 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 ding. Yahtzee. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick, but that's game over. And you know what? Courts get really upset when you go back and forth, right? And we've all watched it. This person makes a video about what a scumbag this person is, and they fire back and go, no, that person's a scumbag. And they, say this person did this to that, and then this person. When did I make a video about anybody? You understand? I don't do this. I don't do this. I don't talk about content creators. It's been a policy of mine forever. And I'm not here calling her ugly or fat or any of the stuff that people like to do in these stupid fights that they have on YouTube. I'm not playing that game. I have no desire for any of that. I don't want to do this. I really don't. This makes me sick. But you know what? There's got to be penalties for people who just want to say anything that they want to anyone, right? Just somebody said earlier, and I loved it. Just because you have a camera and a microphone doesn't mean that you can say anything you want, right? You can't. Now, you can come on and say, in my opinion, Tommy Scoville is the biggest scumbag that ever walked the planet. In my opinion, the guy's a drug addict. In my opinion, he continually does drugs. He's snorts toots, continues to toot cocaine. Say anything you want, right? I get that. That's what trolls do, right? That's legit. When you start lying about the most foul and reprehensible thing that you can call someone. Somebody put in a comment, you didn't lose subscribers because of Marilyn Honig. You lost subscribers because of Reese Quibell. I got news for you. I dated Reese Quibell. Reese and I were engaged. Whatever happened, it happened. But I'd have a real bitch of a time going in and suing Reese for anything. There'd be a lot of deposition back and forth, wouldn't there? There'd be a ton of it because we have so much history together. It's incredible. And I don't hate her. I've told you that. I never have. And I know they're still together, which makes a lot of sense, right? We're still together, and I just moved to Ecuador, right? Because that's what you do to be with the woman that you want to be with, right? Move 6,000 miles away from her. But the geniuses, right, that just have so much fun doing this. I hate talking about people, right? I like talking about ideas. I like talking about news events. I like talking about concepts, sobriety, right? Living your best life. And now I'm going to be able to show you around parts of South America, take you to some really cool places. I'd like to take the crew to see the Galapagos Islands. For those of you who are not aware, the Galapagos Islands completely protected, right? People are not allowed to mess with any of the animals there. There are tours that are allowed, but the Galapagos Islands is just a straight shot right off of the coast of where we live. In fact, you could go right out there, get in a boat and go a couple of 100 miles out. What is it, 600 miles out, and you're going to come across the Galapagos Islands. Really looking forward. 6 hours, I'm sorry, by boat, 6 hours. Agnes Barnes says, pretty low for these people to spend all your time belittling others to feel better about your sad self and hopes to cash in. Well, here's the deal. I don't even know that that's it. Honestly, I don't. What happens is people come online and they get a microphone and they get a camera and they begin to try to create. And creating literally means that you're going to come up with concepts and ideas, and you're going to talk about things that hopefully your audience finds engaging. If you can't do that, if you fail at trying to make that happen and nobody looks at what you do, the last rung of that is you'll find someone who can create. You'll find someone who does create content, and you'll talk about them, right? The idea being there are maybe there's a couple of hundred people that think Tommy Scoville's a pretty good guy. So if I call him a child molester in every damn show that I do or every third show or whatever, maybe his fans will come over to hear what I have to say. It's a bad thing when you lie about somebody to make money. I assure you, no matter how much or how little Marilyn Honig made on the videos that she called me a child molester or a man who has continually raped women his entire life, right? Never been arrested for that, never been convicted of that, never been accused of that. Where is she going to find these women? Huh? Where are you going to find the evidence of this? And she can laugh and say, yeah, he's a convicted Okay, go with that. Again, let's stipulate to that. 16 years old, right? That would make me a minor. A minor. You're calling me a child molester. Not a really good idea. Arabian Bard, good to see you. I'm glad that you're here. Well, I'm glad that you caught alive too. I really am. It's good to see you. And I'm glad that this is holding up. We are blessed right now by God, because I'm telling you, this is about one rung above dial-up. There are some great things about where we live. I love this city. There are some things about this city that aren't quite up to snuff yet. A lot of them are infrastructure stuff. One of them happens to be internet, right? Tony Zuder says, she doesn't create, she takes and manipulates. It's pathetic. It's true. Timothy Glass says, will Johnny be chasing the heat in South America? I'll tell you what, man, I'm not going to answer for Johnny Scoville, but I will tell you this, that for the most part, this is where super hots were invented. I'm not sure if you know that. Also, the company that Johnny worked with to make the tube of terror and all that owns a massive farm that grows really hot peppers. Where? In Ecuador. So I would say there's a chance you're going to see some of that. It is kind of what made Johnny famous, right? Handmade Hazard said, I'm a survivor of child SA. 10 years I endured. I'm sorry. This woman weaponizing using child abuse this way is effing awful. I'm so sorry this is happening to a wonderful human like you, Tommy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I'll tell you something. I'm a survivor of child sexual assault. And I've talked about that on the boat. Tell them not to leave. There you go. If that happens again, people stick around because it seems to. This is a nighttime in Salinas, right? It's Friday night. It is Friday, right?
I don't know.
I don't know what day it is either. I thought it was Friday night, but we've been traveling a lot, so I didn't tell you. But most people go out about this time, so the hotel will probably have less people in it at 9:20. This is not a big hotel. We're in a very, very teeny hotel. There's probably only about 10 or 15 rooms in this hotel. Great place, though. Nicest people ever. Did I change my mind about going to the Diddy case? I did, and I'll tell you why. Just be really honest. One of the reasons that I don't want to live in the United States anymore is because the trolls are going to be trolls. You can say whatever you want about me, right? You can, unless it is malicious and a lie. If you know what you're saying isn't true. Right? If you're being malicious, then I'm probably going to have to take action, which is what I'm doing now. And I'm not happy about it. Trust me, I'm not. But other stuff spilled over into my real life, like people following us around, like vandalism, like getting spit at. I got spit at in the face, right? In an airport, which was a tough thing to endure. I'm not going to lie to you. It was a painful thing. And when we started talking about going to the Diddy trial, somebody who, God bless them, because I have said a million times, send me something that someone says negative about me and I'll block you because I don't want to know, right? Now I've like people come and they're kind about what they do, but somebody said, hey, I think you probably ought to take a look at this. And what the people said was, hey, the Scovilles are going to be coming to New York. Let's get some people out there to see if we can go F with them, right? Not kill us, but see if, there we go. See if we couldn't get that rageaholic, right, Tommy Scoville, to maybe take a swing at somebody, right? Another video was sent to me where people said they were going to try to put together a GoFundMe page to come up with money so that people could sue me. For what? Who gives a shit, right? Doesn't matter. They were going to come up with money to try to sue me to keep me in court. Why? Well, because they called Homeland Security and they called the police department in Tucson, and they didn't get the results they were hoping for. So the next line of defense was going to be to try to tie me up in court with bullshit that would make me go broke. Because truthfully, if somebody takes you to court, you've got to fight it, right? You've got to fight it. And you can cripple a person that way. You can cripple a person that way. One of the questions that people have asked is, how the hell can this guy sue somebody from another country? Because I live in a very unusual situation, right? I am not yet a dual citizen. I will be. But as of right now, I will always be an American. I will always own an American passport. And I do not have to be there to sue Marilyn Honig until we go to court. And make no mistake, we're going to court. She can laugh and giggle and do all of this stupid stuff, but when she talks to a lawyer for the first time, she's going to stop laughing. I promise. You know what? For all of you, you guys know how to use AI. Ask AI. Describe the situation to AI and see what AI says. Right? That'll be fun for you. Marilyn, you might want to try that too. Give it a shot. Ask AI what kind of case you got. Say the truth. I believe this man to be a child molester. And I believe that in 1986, right, he sexually assaulted a girl. Can I call him a child molester for the rest of his life because of that? The problem becomes the visual image. You see, someone that doesn't know any of the stories pops up and goes, this guy's what, 55 years old, right? Well, when you call a 55-year-old man a child molester, you're saying, I'm out molesting kids, right? I'm hanging out in front of schools, waiting for kids to come out. That's the image that is being put out. And the federal government has said, you don't have to prove damages. You don't have to say, why did this damage your reputation? Anything else you have to. Anything else. Not with this. Because it is so horrific. There is nothing else in our world that is more disgusting. Come on back for us. There we are. Nothing is more disgusting than that. Susie, thank you so much. I'm not sure why I can't put that up there, but Susie with a super chat, thank you so much. Susie says, so happy you finally stood up to this evil woman. And I'll tell you something, I'm sick to my stomach about doing it. Not because, I'll tell you what, I'm not afraid of a fight. People spend plenty of time in prison. I'm not concerned about beefing in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to drag you through it. I don't want to drag my audience through it. One of the reasons that the audience that didn't run when I was accused of all of this crazy shit, one of the reasons that you stick around is because I don't do drama. One of the reasons that you stick around. All right. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate that. Thank you for your patience. This is going to be tough, but we're going to get through it. I don't want to do this to you guys at all. Because honestly, I would like this to be a show where we talk about positive stuff. I never kicked any content creators, right? On the way down. I bet you could think of a guy off the top of your head, right? Who threw a woman into the side of a building on film and everybody got a chance to watch it. And I went to bat for him. I said, we don't know the story that happened there, right? We don't know what happened. But I went to bat for him, made a video about it. And then he had a field day, right? Talking shit about me while I was on the way down because it's fun to take shots at people when they're on their way down. Well, I got news for you. I'm not staying down, right? You're not canceling me. I'm not a child molester. I didn't rape people, right? To say the things, held up a piece of paper. I got a beautiful picture of it. My lawyer's got it. It's a picture of that she's holding up that says, Brett Miller is dangerous. Okay. I'm dangerous. How? Well, she went on to tell you how. He has continued to rape women his entire life. Well, holy shit. That's kind of ugly, isn't it? Huh? That's kind of ugly. The beautiful thing is, I don't have to prove that I didn't do that. It's not how it works. See, she is going to have to prove that I did. because she went out and made these statements to thousands of people, right? Thousands of people. And go ahead and pull them down. Do whatever you want to do. It will not affect this. I promise you, right? The legal team has it all. And you think this is a bluff? Good, right? Hang out and see if it's a bluff. And I'll tell you something, right? She's laughing. Wait till you talk to the attorney. Wait till you talk to an attorney the first time who's going to tell you they want $25K, right? See if I'm lying. That's the going rate. $25,000 to go into court and lose, right? You're going to be hiring an attorney to try to get me to say, all right, I'll take a deal of some kind. A deal where you delete your channel and disappear from YouTube forever, but not before making an apology video to me saying the stuff I said was bullshit. There's no proof to it, and I just said it. But you know what? I'll be honest with you. That doesn't do it for me. It doesn't. You did this maliciously. And read a little up on this, right? Look into defamation. Because if you accidentally say something about someone you shouldn't, you can still get in a crap load of trouble. If you accidentally call someone a child molester because you got bad information from somebody, right? You can still get in a lot of trouble. It's still defamation. But if you did it with the intent to hurt someone, if you did it with the intent to hurt them financially, if you did it with the intent to hurt their reputation, right, then that's a whole different ballgame. And if you profited off of what you did, well, then again, that is a really, really ugly thing. So Grace, ask me a question, Grace, or go the F away. Ask me a question, Grace. What do you got?
I blocked Grace. She's gone.
Oh, she already gone? Okay.
You betcha.
Okay. That's all right. We won't miss Grace. Their asses. And here's the funny thing, right? Hey, Reese, good to see you. You're going to come across people. Hey, Joyful Rachel, good to see you. You're going to come across fans of hers that are going to come over here and they're going to talk trash. I got rid of 6 comments from the video that I did. And I'll be honest with you, I'm shocked. I anticipated a hell of a lot more than that. It's probably because I blocked most of the people who would have liked to have left a crappy comment anyway. Right? For real. Okay, here we go. No, I don't have any problem with this. Okay, even if you take away the child molester part, you did sexually assault someone. That part is not a lie. Well, if we want to stipulate to that, and I've told the story of this, I'm not going to keep doing it. I've told it on here before. In the state of Vermont, if I wanted to defend myself in any way, shape, or form, I had to admit that there was contact between me and the victim. At the age of 16, I would have been charged with statutory rape. The only state in the United States of America at the time that would charge you for statutory rape if you were not an 18-year-old was the state of Vermont. So in order for me to even defend myself, I would have had to admit that a blowjob took place. Sorry, but that's what it was. It was oral sex. And that's what I was guilty of. And I pled guilty, to catching oral sex from a 15-year-old when I was 16. That does not make me a child molester. It also was the last time anything like that ever happened in my life. You know anything about this type of stuff? People who do that continue to do that. Please come back. There we are. It's bad wiring. However, whatever you want to say, if it makes you feel good. Like I said in the beginning, how about if I stipulate to it? Hold on, I just missed somebody here. Hold on a second, I just missed somebody here. How much is a dozen eggs there? I'll tell you what. Here's the one thing that I find really unusual is eggs are not refrigerated in South America. Eggs are sold on shelves. They do not refrigerate them. I found this to be absolutely incredible. And to be honest with you, it freaked me out a little bit. And for that reason, I have not purchased them or even looked at purchasing them. I'm not sure I can wrap my brain around the non-refrigerated eggs. And I'm sure I'm being stupid, right? I'm sure that there's no big deal to eggs that aren't refrigerated. But yeah, see, this is kind of what I thought. Ew. Ashley says eggs are only refrigerated in the US and in Canada. How odd. Did the purple hat make the trip? Yes, the purple hat made the trip. Unfortunately, the only way that the the only way that the purple hat was going to get here without being completely destroyed was if I shipped it in a box, right? So that's kind of how that went down. Annabelle, you're right. I did not come to this step lightly. I have talked about this for so long. This had been going on for so long, and I didn't want to do this. I promise you I didn't. I think these are subjects I want to discuss. Stephen Miller says, everyone makes mistakes, especially as teenagers. So ridiculous. She twisted this into something it's not. Yeah, again, I said this in the beginning. I don't admit to the things that they've accused me of doing when I was 16. But if I stipulated to all of it, let's say that I beat her with a bat and held her down and did whatever they want to say, right? It still doesn't allow someone to continue to call you a child molester forever. Right? It's disgusting. And to say he continues to rape people to this day. Where in God's name does somebody come up with that? Like, I got an idea. Do you have some newspaper articles? Do you have a criminal record of mine that shows that I've continued to do this throughout my life? Because I'll tell you my criminal record, people, we've talked about it. I got a shit pile of arrests, and they're all for stealing. That's what I was arrested for. Bank robbery. I'm sorry. There was a gun running charge as well. But for the most part, everything that I have done had to do with theft. And the reason is I had a really bad drug problem. I had to come up with an awful lot of money every single day in order to support my habit. There's something else I want to say too. It's not going to make me popular with a lot of the faithful here on the lifeboat, right? But I don't care. I'm sorry, because this is just the right thing to do. And every once in a while, you got to do the right thing, even if it doesn't feel right, or if it doesn't feel like it's going to make everybody happy, right? Doing the right thing is always doing the right thing. This scumbag, and I'm sorry, because that's who these people are, they also are doing everything within their power to try to get Huxley taken away from his mom. There's a lot of stuff, right, that I could say about Reese. To say that Reese is abusive to her kid, or that she doesn't take care of her child, that is just so wholesale bullshit. I'm sorry. And you know what? We're not together. It's none of that. But it's the right thing, right? If I can go, oh, cool, right? Picking on Reese and not me. Let her talk about what a bad mom she is. There are people out there like that. Trust and believe. There are content creators who get so excited when there's another content creator who's getting shit thrown at them, because that makes it a whole lot easier. Huxley would be her son. And the only reason that I will say his name is because Reese has on her show before. And he's a great kid. He really is. He's a great kid. But for these people to try to get a campaign going to get child services in there, what the F has happened to us as human beings? This is sport, right? You're going to try to have a kid taken from his mom because you don't like the content she puts up? You're going to tell the world that someone's a child molester because you don't like them as a human? Hey, Marilyn, this is going to cost you like you have no idea. Look up what you now have to do in order to Yeah. No, I didn't fly 30 straight hours, man. Here's the problem with flying with animals. Thank you again, Stephen. Here's the problem with flying with animals. Believe it or not, there are literally I am so sorry that has happened. And it is. It's a horrific thing for somebody to pick on somebody for their sexual orientation. I mean, for their for the racism in this country, to pick on someone for being black or for being Mexican or for being anything, right? For being white, hating someone because of the color of their skin. Nothing on earth is more ignorant. It really isn't. But that kind of ignorance happens every single day. I know I need to calm down, but what this person is doing is destroying my reputation. The number of emails that I've gotten from people that said, I really enjoyed your show until I found out you were a child molester. So I unsubscribed. I really loved watching what you were doing until I found out you were a child molester. I can't calm down. By the way, I hate the people that said that to you. I swear to God, I do. I hate them. And I probably would have hated them even if my life hadn't been saved by a black man. It's just disgusting. Let's see what we got here. We still don't like you. This ought to be good. One person is trying to get H taken away, and she has her own channel, True Clear Media. Reese has claimed you sexually assaulted her. Reese claimed that I sexually assaulted Reese. Huh? That's a lie. Sodomy is oral sex. If you'd like to look that up, sodomy, right? Forced sodomy can be oral sex or anal sex, but you probably knew that, right? A GED class is paying off. We still don't like you as an asshole, right? Reese never said that. Reese never said that. You can say whatever you want about Reese Quibell. She never once said that. That's a lie. So do me a favor, get this liar away from my channel. You got a wrench, make sure I never see them again. Plenty I can say about Reese. She never said that. In fact, I have heard Reese say, I spent a lot of time with Tommy Scoville sexually, and he's the most gentle person that I've ever met. Yeah, that's just a lie. But see, what's happening is a lie, right? People say this all the time. A lie will go around the earth 3 times before the truth has even gotten their shoes tied, right? But what happens instead is Marilyn Honig is telling people that Reese is a bad person because she was letting a child molester be in the same house as her son. So perhaps that's where the BS that you guys are talking about came from. But no, Reese never said that about me. There's plenty Reese said about me. You guys heard it. There was a very long video made about it. But she sure as shit didn't call me a child molester, and she just
texted me and said, I never said that. That's a lie.
How about that? Reese just texted and said, I never said that. And that's because Reese is blocked. And you know what? I'm sorry that she is. I didn't block her. Someone else would have. Honestly, I would not have blocked Reese. And I'm sorry that you're blocked, Reese. I wish you could have said that to everybody. But I know that you didn't say that. We've had our issues, right? But that certainly is not something that geez, guys, some heavy content here. Yeah, no, it sucks, right? It sucks. There's nothing worse than doing this kind of content. You think I dig this? You think I like sitting here and talking about the fact that people have called me a rapist and a child molester? You think this is a good time? Huh? You think this is a good time? No, and I'm not effing kidding. I wouldn't have blocked Reese. There are reasons that I block people. I block people, right? When they say things that are offensive. You can disagree with me, right? Don't lie, right? There are things that get you banned really quickly. I should be enjoying my new life. Ashley, I am enjoying the hell out of my new life. I really am. I'll tell you, you want to know why this went down? I'll tell you exactly why this went down. You want to know what the straw that broke the camel's back was? A relative of mine, right? A relative of mine who is not yet out of college reached out and said, I heard the worst thing in the entire world about my uncle. It almost killed me. And up until that point, I said to myself, who gives a shit? Like, how many people are really watching these? They're getting 400 views or 1,000 views. Who cares? Like, how much can that really hurt me, man? Right? But when someone that loves me has to hear that, and I have to have a conversation with a relative to say, no, that didn't happen, and this is just the kind of things that people do these days. Do either of you speak Spanish, or do they speak English in Ecuador? They do not speak a lot of English in Ecuador. We are learning, and we're learning fast. I'll tell you what, if you don't learn fast, you're in a hell of a lot of trouble because, there we go. The good thing is this, and I'm not intelligent on this stuff at all, but from people who are learning to speak foreign languages, often say that of all of the ways to learn Spanish, there's something about how Ecuadorians speak Spanish that makes it a lot easier. I hope that is the truth, because as of right now, the speed at which I took 4 years of Spanish in high school, and I also smoked a lot of pot in high school. I didn't learn a whole hell of a lot, but I know most of the verbs. I know enough of the language. And not to be disrespectful, but if you buy heroin in the United States, the guy that answers the phone probably isn't speaking English, right? So I knew enough to be able to really converse if I was trying to buy, so to speak. But no, we're definitely learning the language. It is a beautiful place. The people are beautiful. Some of the kindest folks everywhere you go. I'll tell you what, going through an airport when we landed in Guayaquil. Oh, before I got distracted earlier, it's not a 30-hour plane ride. But what happens is airlines will allow 4 pets on a jet. So if you are trying to get on a jet and you have 2 cats, and there are already 2 cats and a dog on that plane, you're not getting on. It's just that simple, right? You're limited. So we had an 8-hour layover in one airport. How long was the layover in Bogota? 5 hours, 5 hours and some change. We had a layover in Bogota. So a lot of the travel time was sitting in airports with cats, which is a nightmare. What is the currency there? Dollars or pesos? Or pesos rather. They spend American dollars. The system here, they spend greenbacks, the exact same money that you have in your pocket today, right? The exact same money that you have in your pocket today is what they are spending here. However, there's kind of an exchange rate of sorts, even though it's dollars, because you might end up spending, $1.95 to buy a Pepsi, or you could end up spending 35 cents to buy a Pepsi. It just kind of depends on where you are. I never went over to watch because I never cared enough to until today, just to get context. Being you have a criminal record doesn't mean you get to become a better person. As for a CM, no. Yeah. Here's the thing. There are people that are never going to forgive me for the things that I've done, and I'm okay with that. You have every right. As crazy as this is going to sound, I can't tell you how many times I have said, I wish that they would lock him up and throw away the key. It's a pretty messed up thing to say. I've said it a bunch. We all want justice to happen, and there are a lot of people who are very unhappy. This back. There we go. There are a lot of people who are very unhappy that I got out of prison and started being treated nicely. There were a lot of people that were very, very kind to me. Just be chilling. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Hey, Nia. Glad that you're here. So yeah, it's there are people that are never going to forgive me for the crimes that I've done. I don't blame them. I don't. I'm a convicted felon. And if that's more than you can handle, then that's more than you can handle. And I completely understand that. But it doesn't give you the right to call me a murderer. It doesn't give you the right to call me a rapist. It doesn't give you the right to call me a child molester, right? Those are not things I have been convicted of. And there is nothing, and I mean nothing, on earth more vile to accuse someone of than molesting a child. The bitch of the situation is it's going to be very difficult for you, Marilyn Honig, to prove. And maybe you don't understand the concept of what this means when you are being accused of defamation. But what you're going to find is you have to either prove that that is the truth, or the courts are going to determine how much money you're going to owe to make me right, right? To make me right. That would be compensatory damages, to compensate me for the damage done to me as a human being by calling me a child molester and a rapist, right? What has it done to my business? What has it done to my life? Whatever. Then the punitive damages. And the punitive damages, I would be far more worried about, because there are movies coming out right now. Netflix has a special coming out about the sickos who use YouTube and platforms like it as a way to try to slander and destroy people, right? To come up with all of these stories and find out where they live and call their bosses and see if they can get them evicted and all of this stupidity. Well, she better hope that this judge doesn't want to send a message to people like her, because punitive damages can run into the hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you think I'm kidding, look it up. See, the idea is to scare other people from doing the same thing. And I know people have reached out to me today, a bunch of you, to say, I can list 5 other people you need to sue for saying the same thing. The reason that I'm suing Marilyn Honig is because Marilyn Honig said straight out, I want to be sued. I got the money. I have the cash, right? I'm ready. I want to be sued. So be careful what you wish for, sunshine, right? And I'll be honest, it's kind of pointless to sue people that don't have any means, right? And a lot of them don't. But however, she seems to think that she does. So we're going to see how she does. These 2 brothers were a godsend when I found them on YouTube, dealing with my personal issues with my sobriety. So thankful. God led me your way. Wow. Thank you. I will support you both through all the ups and the downs. Timothy, what a beautiful thing to say, man. What a beautiful thing to say. It means a lot to me. And it's why doing a show like this makes me want to vomit, because of people like Timothy and people like Brock and people like Kristen, right? And people like Angie and people that don't come here for this shit. I'm sorry. Let me make you a promise. The next time that you hear me talk about this will be the day that she gets served her papers. It's going to be probably the first week in July. And I will mention it then. Ain't going to be a whole show on it. I'm just going to say, hey, she got served, right? I also may have my attorney come on, because my attorney does dig YouTube. And he's talented. So my attorney let's say, there we go. My attorney might want to come on and do a Q&A. I don't know. I can't promise that, but I have a feeling that could happen. But this isn't going to be my content. I'm going to go back to doing what I do, which is talking about living your best life. And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to show you Ecuador. I'm going to show you the Galapagos Islands. I'm going to show you what I believe to be one of the coolest countries you will ever look at. It's fantastic. It is the salad bowl of the world. For real. There's more types of food and fruit and vegetables that are available here than any other place. It's amazing. She will get served. She will absolutely get served. Sue the arse off of her. Here's the deal. I'm not doing this, believe it or not. I'm not doing this to be malicious. I'm doing this because it's got to stop. It's got to stop, right? When I started on YouTube, it was friggin' fantastic. It really was. This place was great. There was so much good stuff going on, and people were getting helped, and man, it was fun. And there were trolls, right? There were trolls. You never saw me go after any of them, and there were plenty of them that went after me all of the time, but they didn't say things that were lies. They could say, the guy's got a huge nose and I hate him. The guy is, I don't believe he's sober. Okay, you don't believe I'm sober. That's, you have a right to say, I don't believe that someone is sober. You can't say the guy's a rapist. You can't say the guy's a child molester, right? Those things cross a line, and the time has come for somebody to do something about it. And as I mentioned a while ago, I got really fortunate that the early days of the lifeboat, all I talked about was sobriety. And someone reached out and said, I would like to buy all of the content that you did and use it to train AI models. And I made more money selling my content than I ever made putting my content up. It's actually, I don't know, man, it's a bit of justice. Because when I started doing it, everybody said, it's a depressing subject and you're not going to make any money. And then they said, live, you're doing it live, there's no money in going live. Right? Everyone fail, you're going to fail, you're going to fail. Shocker. If one person got sober, I didn't think I failed. I honestly started this out to try to help people get sober. Have I seen the sunset where you are? Oh, yeah. We haven't missed one since we've been here. It's absolutely breathtaking. The sun goes down over the water, comes up over the Andes, and then drops over the water. It's absolutely amazing. Sammy Sue says, let's see if I can get you up here. This is, I'm telling you, everything is running so slow. I can't wait to be in our own place. But unfortunately, the person that we bought from has not quite moved out. And that's a bit of an issue. Let's see if we can get it. There we go. You may be a convicted felon, Tommy, but you have paid your debt to society. You have done a lot of good things for people with various addictions. God is using you. Thank you so much. It's such a kind thing to say. I got news for you. Doesn't take a rocket scientist, right, to look up what it takes to emigrate to anywhere, right? And one of the things that you have to do is you got to go and get an FBI background check done on you. And it scared the crap out of me, people. I got a really ugly record. But the two things that will absolutely, you're off the board. If you've killed someone, you can never live in this country. They're not going to allow that to happen. They will allow felons, providing the felon shows that they've changed their lives. And providing that the felon shows that they were not a child molester or a rapist. Those are crimes that they will not allow anybody to move into their country with. And to the best of my knowledge, that's every country. May come as a huge shock to Marilyn Honig and her friends. But I got that apostolized, right? FBI report. And fortunately, it doesn't say that I killed anyone. And it doesn't say that I'm a child molester or a rapist. And as to the 1986 and all of that, before you trash someone, look them up, right? Because everybody knew where I lived, for God's sakes. You guys, not you guys, but the idiots has doxed me so many times. Everybody knew my address. How is it that they couldn't find me as a registered sex offender? Huh? Anyway. She's not the only bully liar that's in that community. I know that. Oh, yes, B-Lady. You can hear the water nonstop. In fact, we went, was it yesterday or today that we went to the... Yesterday. We went to our house where we're going to be living. And our real estate agent said, no, don't you call me in a couple of weeks and start complaining about the noise of the ocean. Because she said, believe it or not, she gets that a lot, where people will call and say it's too loud. And it is loud. But I have said this many times on the boat before. I can't stand silence. I don't know if it's an addiction thing, because I know a lot of other people like that. But to me, silence is deafeningly loud. It's this, I hate it. It's just it's a feeling that really makes me uncomfortable. Rip Curl Readiness. No one is suing me. I am suing someone named Marilyn Honig because she consistently calls me a child molester and tells people that I have been continually raping women my entire life. So she's going to need to go to court and prove those things. That's how that works. I don't have to go to court and prove that I didn't, although it wouldn't be hard, right?
To be
It wouldn't. Here's my criminal record. She has to prove these things. And she has apparently said today in a post that it's going to be super easy to prove that stuff. Well, good. Then you should have nothing to worry about, right? Nothing to worry about. I'm sure you know a good lawyer, probably knows you well and is a friend, so maybe you won't have to put up 25 grand as a retainer. Doesn't matter to me if you do or you don't. What matters to me is that you're going to have to prove the things that you've been saying about me for a long freaking time. Marilyn is in the wrong, and she claims to be a Christian. Jesus, I believe, is horrified by her actions. She is so hate-filled, it's scary. I want to tell you something. There are people on the internet. There are people on the internet who have reached out to me, who have said, you do know that this woman has been convicted for child abuse, do you not? I'm not touching that. I'm not. Now, I did a little research. I'm still not touching that. But go ahead and do some research. You can do it. It's not hard. I don't do what she does. Do you understand? Whatever happened to her in her past, if she's gone through the process and she's paid her dues, then she paid her dues. That's fine. But people that live in glass houses, maybe they shouldn't be whipping stones around. And I'll tell you something. If you're going to be a shithead, don't pick the one thing to call someone that the government has said, we just assume damages. You don't have to prove damages if someone calls you a cholo, because it's the most reprehensible effing thing that you can call someone on planet Earth. We know for a fact, right? We know for a fact that that is going to destroy somebody's reputation, plain and simple. How do you bounce back? And you know, you guys believe me. You guys are friends of mine, right? You guys have spent a lot of time with me. But what if you came across my channel 5 days ago? You know how many people came across my channel just during the Diddy stuff? The number of emails that I got that said, I stopped watching you when I found out you were a convicted child molester. I stopped watching you when I found out that you raped women using drugs to rape. Honestly, it gets to a point where you have to do what I'm doing right now. It's Jordan Black. This isn't fun for me, people. You may not believe that. I think Marilyn Honig gets her rocks off on this. From what I understand, every single show she does is trashing somebody. I don't enjoy this. And you notice I'm not trashing her. I'm not. I'm just telling you straight out, this woman's going to have to prove the things that she's been saying. And she is not going to be able to do that. She can go and act all tough on Facebook or make videos and keep making them, because it's going to make my job a whole hell of a lot easier. I promise. Double down. Double down. Right? It's a smart thing to do. Jordan says, I have to sleep with a fan. I spent a few months in county jail, and it was torture not being able to sleep. Oh, man. And I'll tell you something, having done time, county jails are worse than prisons. County jails don't turn off the lights, right? They got this thing where, at least every county jail I've ever been in, the lights stay on all night long. Awful. Misal Smoke says, I wouldn't look at her stuff. I don't look at people that put up hate. I don't groove to it. There's a really great quote, and I don't remember what it is, but the quote says something along the lines of, stupid people, right, talk about people. Intelligent people talk about ideas, right, concepts. And geniuses talk about, I can't remember what. But I don't talk about people as a way to make a living. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll talk about Diddy, right? I'll talk about people that are out there in the zeitgeist that are part of this huge thing, right? But to talk about content creators and to make a living picking people that have an audience and then trashing those people in hopes that some of that audience will come over to you is a pretty nasty way to make a living, right? Pretty nasty way to make a living. to try to get Child Protective Services to take away someone's child because you don't like them. Yeah, call yourself a Christian. Yeah, I'm betting you've never heard of the Bemis seat or the Bemis chair, but someday you're going to sit in it, and you'll have an opportunity to explain to Christ why you thought this was okay. That's just my opinion. You don't have to believe what I believe, people. I promise I can get along with you either way. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate that. I really do. And I apologized in the beginning for having to do this because I love you guys and I don't want to do this. This isn't entertaining for me. And I know it's not entertaining for you. However, if somebody on a daily or a weekly basis, and you realize that she tags me, so every time she does one of these things, I get a notification that she's made a video about me. I have held on to this literally now for what, almost a year of her calling me this stuff. She went to my hometown, right, to try to see if she could dig dirt up. I haven't lived there in 30 years, 35 years. The judge is going to dig that. It's going to look a little malicious. I'm not going to do any more of this tonight, people. I promise. Okay. And I apologize. I really do. I apologize. I don't like doing this. Right. Watch my 3,000 hours. Right. Watch my 3,000 hours and see how often I mention content creators. See how often I engage in this BS. Tomorrow night, I'm hoping to have really good internet, and I am going to be talking about things that mean something to me. And as most of you know, that comes down to living your best life and sobriety. You get what you put out there, just saying. So you're saying I'm a bad dude, Miss EP, or are you saying that she's a bad person? I'm not sure which one you're saying. Doesn't much matter. Honestly, it doesn't. But you do reap what you sow, you know? And I'll tell you something. I've paid for the things that I've done in my life. You have no idea. I have paid for the things that I've done in my life. And then I got out of prison and I got off paper by doing everything right, by not breaking any rules. Now, the whole time that was happening, I had these people calling my parole officer, my probation officer, to tell them I was getting high, that I was raping women, that I was stealing stuff. Can you believe this? I would get called into the office and he'd say to me, I swear to God, man, I get any more of these phone calls. Think about that. If I get any more, how am I going to stop these phone calls? Please, boss, don't hold this against me. Please don't hold this against me, because these idiots can do whatever they want. So it gets a little bit more difficult. Gets a little bit more difficult to do when I'm not in America. I don't. You reap what you sow. Yes, sir. No one putting out hate is in the right. I agree with you. No one putting out hate is in the right. If anyone thinks that what I am doing today is putting out hate, I have eaten the shit sandwich listening to people call me a child molester and a rapist for a really long time. And I could have gone the route that everyone else does and started calling her names and talking about what she looks like or how much she weighs or what she does or what her family does, because that's what these people do. Instead, I'm taking the high ground. The high ground is I want to see you in court. You believe I'm these things? Prove it. I won't bother anybody tonight with any more of this. I'm not trying to bum anybody out. I'm really not. I love you guys. I do. Unfortunately, there were a lot of other people I loved who left because they think I'm something I'm not. There's a lot of other people who walked away because they think that I did things to children, and that I continually am doing things to children, or I'm continually raping people. I'm done. I had to what I had to do be B lady, was explain to the world exactly what's happening, right? For real. Now, I'm going to go live my best life because I'll be honest with you. I've never been happier since getting here. I've never been happier. This feels like where I am supposed to be. Jordan, I enjoy having you here. People, I think you're going to enjoy tuning into the expat Tommy Scoville. I promise you, I'm going to take you on an awful lot of fun. So come on back. You're not going to hear her name again until papers are served, and then you won't hear her name again after that until I fly back to the United States, to my state of birth in Vermont, to actually go to the trial, because I'm not settling. All right, peeps, have a great evening. Between now and the next time that I see you, please forgive me for doing this. I wasn't really given much of a choice. All right? Appreciate you. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye. Hey.